Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the last word inside the camper van. Ferdinand is at the front asleep, so I thought this would be a good opportunity for us to film the video right now for you. I'm on the M11, just heading up if you've been around the anti-clockwise around Dartford, because there's a road closure on the other side and it'll charge me ULEZ because this van is not compliant. So I went around the east side and now we're going up the M11 and we'll join the A1 further up north past Cambridge way. Yeah, hope you're doing all right, everyone. Long drive home. Former Mackems, killing what off. Parking fines. You probably would have seen the vlog by now. It's been a bit of a chaotic and a long day. And obviously we're travelling north to see the lasses. Obviously we're going to go through the game, the lineups, a few questions we'll hear from Eddie Howe, and we'll also have a little look what people are saying on social media. I want to bring that in because of just myself in the van. So it spreads the video out a little bit more. And of course, if you want to have a fantastic bally bet, which is down here, ta-da, scan that QR code or link in the description or the top of the pinned comment. If you bet just £10, you will get £20 back free. Now, I've had a good look. Of course, I'm intrigued to see how F1 gets on with Ferrari. Obviously, I'm a Ferrari fan, but they'll do all sorts of casinos, sports, football. But if you want to have a look at the Champions League coming up against Benfica, will Newcastle bounce back? Have a look at Bally bet. Bet £10, you get £20 back free. Can't lose, can you? We'll come back to that a little bit later. So, where do we begin? Obviously, I got to the Amex pretty late. Literally 5 to 3. I slept in. I'm not going to lie, I was absolutely exhausted driving down for the night, but I only stayed half an hour away, got stuck in traffic. But we got there, and then the team news come out, of course, and it was very interesting to see what Eddie Howe was going to go with. It was unchanged. What do you think of that then? Would you, looking at hindsight, change any of that? Because I said there was 3 positions up for grabs in the build-up to this game, which I thought Fabian Schär might come back in. I thought Ramsey might have had the chance, especially the 2 Brazilians being away, and potentially Jacob Murphy. Now, obviously, with the Champions League game coming up pretty quick now, as I've just touched upon there, would you change any of those 3? Because it did look at midfield today that our lads, especially the national lads, all 3 of them, looked a little bit leggy. I did feel that Bruno was the best of the 3. Tonali was off it. Joe Linton was off it. He was hooked off at half-time. And that's probably a mixture of the form that he was in during the game and also his little bit of a niggle that he had on international duty. And of course, Alanga was hooked off of half-time. And I've just jumped the gun here, but I want to talk about this line a little bit more because Alanga was awful. There was a point where it was perfect. It was right in front of me. We were on the counter and everybody was more or less boxing our own half. The ball goes to Alanga and I'm thinking, right, just run at him. Because if you beat that man, it's literally one-on-one further up the field. And for some reason, he cuts back in. And it slows the play down. We used to get so frustrated with Miggy doing that. Naturally, him being left-footed, being on the right-hand side, he's going to do that more often than not. But Langer can use his right foot. He's naturally right-footed and he's strong on his left. But that was so frustrating because he's got the pace just to burn defenders and he didn't do it enough. Speaking of burn, obviously Dan Burn up against Nkuba Minta. I think he's getting a lot of stick online, Adi. I think he did all right. Yes, he got beat a couple of times, but he also stopped him a couple of times. I don't think it's a crisis that Lewis Hall is out. I think Dan Burn can do a job there, but you don't want him there long term. Yes, but he did okay. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't like rinsed over and over and over. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. It came. I tell you. Yeah. So let's get on to the game because I've kind of like jumped the gun a little bit, haven't I? So let's talk about the first half. So off the top of my head, if I remember rightly, I think they started off pretty well. We had I think it was, again, I haven't seen the highlights back. I think it was Botman head at the other end. Nick Pope was forcing an unbelievable save low down. It was class, and he dives down and palms it around. Nick Pope started the season off well, and that was a great save. You have to say that was brilliant because Brighton will show you all the replays of their chances. They won't show the opposition, so we got to see that save, and it was class, and it was a poor game of football, I have to say, first half in general from both teams, but if one team was going to score, it would have been Brighton. And of course, it had to be Danny Welbeck. And I do have to question the two central defenders, Sven Botman and Malik Chow. Both of them are probably 50-50 to blame at this point because the ball is fed through. And don't get me wrong, Welbeck's well experienced, so fair play to him. Well done to him. He finds the space. He's in on goal, 1-on-1 against Nick Pope. It's a great little dink over the goalkeeper, and then he's right in front of her. And I mean, literally, that celebration, which you see on screen there, that's right in front of us, and it obviously has tormented us. And obviously, no doubt about it, because you would have heard the taunts, "You were just a sad Mac and bastard," literally about 10 minutes earlier. It's come back and haunted the Toon fans. So, 1-0 up, and you're thinking, right, do you know what? We've got an awful record here, and I was saying at half-time to Fez and Mike, I would have take a point now. If you come back and get a point, we'll be all right. We'll take it. We'll go back up north and take the point, but I mean, at half-time, as I said, those two substitutions, and Alanga was awful. Joe Linton was trucked off, so it was Lewis Miley and Jacob Murphy. Now, I actually think Murphy become an outlet. And yes, Valdemara, we'll talk about his goal in a minute because he'll get the plum, but I think Valdemara actually had a poor game, a quiet game, to be honest. But strikers are there to judge to score goals. But I thought Murphy was a real outlet. Not everything came to fruition, no, but he offered so much more than what Alanga did, because Murphy was like, right, I've got the ball, I'm going to just clip it, I'm going to like loop it in. Whereas Alanga's right, I'm going to try and cut in maybe with pace or go on the outside. But Murphy was a real outlet. So for me, he has to start against Benfica. So I think he's deserved his start. And obviously, the second half, Brighton were a bit of pressure the first 10 minutes. I think Pope had to do another save. I think it was a couple of blocks further up as well. But it was like, Christ, if they score 2, it's game over, because I can't say Newcastle scoring here today. It's not 2 anyways. And you've already had 0-0 against Villa, 0-0 against Leeds, 0-0 against Bournemouth, and you're like, how are you, man, Newcastle? Let's give us a goal, please. And we got the goal, and it was Nick Woltemade, and my lord, what an absolute world-class finish. So I think it was Murphy who played Miley on the right-hand side. Miley squares it. Initially, I was saying, shoot, man, shoot. But he squares it, and fair play to Lewis Miley, because everyone was shouting, shoot. And the skill and the arrogance and the confidence of Nick Woltemade to do that is absolutely world-class. And Van Hecker had a great game, but he got done there, mind. And that is just outrageous skill. What a start to his Newcastle United career. And as I say, he didn't have the greatest game in the world, because he didn't. Mind you, his service wasn't good until Murphy came on, but my word, that is absolutely incredible, outrageous finish. It was just class. And then the crowd were bouncing, they were singing Volta, all of that, and then, right, however, let's get another goal. However, we're on the up now. You know, our tails are up, and it's a sucker punch, because the former Mac and Ganser scores again. Now, obviously, it was a block shot. I think it might be in Botman. Again, this is at the other end. And again, I haven't seen any of the replays. And then it comes to Welbeck on the edge of the back box. And it is a good finish. Both of his goals he's took really well today. You cannot deny that. And it's like, Newcastle were on the up there. And it's quite late on, you know, something like, the 85th, 86th minute or something, Welbeck scored. And obviously, by that time, Newcastle had already done another double substitutions, with Harvey Barnes coming on. And I think, who was it? Will Azula, literally, when they scored, came straight on as well. I've missed the player off. I've totally forgot who's Ramsey. Ramsey came on. And 2-1. You think, right, can Newcastle try and get something very late on? Now we had a couple of VAR checks as well. That didn't come to anything. Again, I haven't seen the replays back. But it was just really, really disappointing, I cannot lie. But let's hear from Eddie Howe what he thought about the game today.
Yeah, I think the first half, or probably the second half an hour of the first half, I thought we made actually a bright start to the game and looked in a good place initially, and then we fell away from that, and I think we were loose with the ball today in that first period, and we ended up being in transition an awful lot, and yeah, we didn't play with our normal clarity on the ball. Much better in the second half, much more like ourselves, and in the end we're really disappointed to lose. That'll be a concern for us. We can't rely on any one individual. I think We've always historically been a team that scored a lot of goals. We've had goals from different areas. We've never been reliant on any one player. Nick's done really well, and we're delighted for him. We want him to keep scoring, of course, but we need more from the other areas of the team. I thought there were chances there for us today, especially in the second half. It was a good attacking display, albeit we weren't clinical enough.
So we need more from the rest of the squad. Now, as I say, Nick Woltemade, he's absolutely started on fire, which is mint, which is really, really good, considering we're all worried about where the goal's going to come from. And ironically, we're worried about the rest of the team because Valdemar is doing the business, but the rest aren't chipping in. Where's Joe Linton? Where's Tonali? Where's Gordon? Where's Barnes? Where's Murphy? Where's Alanga? Who's chipping in a lot of the time? Yes, Gordon got a couple of penalties in the Champions League, but take that out. You know, there isn't many that's chipping in, and we need more goals. And what is it? Do we need to play 10 yards further forward? Is it an issue with full-backs that you've got an aging right-back and you've got a centre-back effectively playing left-back? And naturally, if you had Hall and Livramento, they would bomb up and down natural width. Is it just one of the midfield three need to take more of a role as saying, right, I'm going to get further forward? Is it the wingers? Is it confidence? Is it form? What is it? Because I kind of put my finger on it. Can you use it home? Because I was thinking, why aren't we not scoring? Do we need to be a little bit more braver? Because obviously the defence has been pretty good before against Brighton today. What is it? For me, if I'm being a bit picky, I'd probably play a little bit further forward and risk in behind, especially if you're playing against teams that don't have pace. Yes, Brighton do. But against teams that don't, maybe we can just play a little bit 10 yards further forward. Because obviously, Minter, as I say, it was 50-50 with Dan Burn. Minter skinned him a couple of times and Dan Burn blocked him a couple of times. I think Burn's getting a little bit too harsh of a criticism. But let's have a look at the Premier League results so far today. Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 3, Brighton 2, Newcastle 1, as we know. Burnley, that's a great win for Burnley, 2-0 at home. That's a fantastic result for them. Palace 3, Bournemouth 3. That's loads of goals. Palace are still unbeaten. Their form is continuing. So is Bournemouth, to be fair. Man City have beaten Everton 2-0. The Mackhams have won 2-0 against Wolves. I think the Mackhams are kind of stay up on there. And Fulham got beat off Arsenal. So there's your results. Here's the Premier League table where Newcastle currently sit in a minute. So just 7 goals in 8 games. And now we've only conceded 7. But we're sitting in 12th place still. We could drop over the weekend further, but not great, that is it. Need more goals. And obviously, yes, I know the first 2 or 3 games, we didn't have Valdemar and we were struggling to score goals because Gordon was playing up there until he's got his daft red card against Liverpool. But we need goals, and goals win games. So obviously, Benfica are coming to 2 next, and we need to score some. We need to score a lot of goals. So I think let's have a look what everyone is saying on social media about the performance today. Chris Watt from The Athletic has gone out to say Valdemar sublime flicked equaliser, but Newcastle lack ideas in attack again. Midfield woes sum it up in the first half. No prolonged Premier League momentum. First away goals shipped and scored as well. Craig Cope's got out to say I flagged yesterday that the midfield would be worried for Newcastle given the travel, and first choice 3 weren't at it first half. That's when wingers have to step up, and they're just not doing it. Valdemar's goal is a moment of inspiration. Better second half, but only forced to chase. And then we'll go on to a couple of fans. Dean Wood's gone to say positives from today are that Valdemar, what a pickup he's been. Brighton away isn't points dropped on what would normally produce down there, but the negatives will be fullback situation not good enough, wide players lacking end product. Alan Jones goes on to say Big Joe, Alanga and Gordon have been shit so far this season. Chris goes on to say short term I'd be looking at putting Trippier at left back and bringing Kraft in. It's not fair on Burn playing left back. He's a centre half. Our wingers, apart from Murphy, need a big boot up the arses. And then Richie's going out to say we might as well forfeit the 4 games against Brighton and Bournemouth before the season starts. Absolutely bogey teams. Yeah, it's not great, our record, isn't it? And I'm just pleased that Bournemouth and Brighton's with the way, to be honest with you. We didn't have to get them back all the way doing the end. I'm pleased that happened, have relegated. So, and now we've got so many London teams to get through as well. But I think we'll wrap up there. If you listen on the audio, if you can give us 5 stars, that'd be wonderful. I'm on the middle of the motorway doing this video, so in the services. So if you can drop us out, help us out. It does help me out massively. I do appreciate it. But I will love you and leave you. I'm still heading north. I might sleep somewhere in the Scotland Van now, which part of the UK, somewhere up, maybe not the Madam now, ready for the Leicester game in the morrow morning. But yeah, we'll love yous and leave yous. And remember to get yourself those £20 free bet through Ballybet, which is the QR code right there. There we go. There it is. Bet £10, get £20 free through Ballybet. Remember to be over 18, gamble aware. But check the link for the description for that if you want to have a little flutter on a few of the events over the weekend or the Champions League games coming up for Newcastle as well. But yeah, we'll love yous and leave yous. We'll see you very soon here on Newcastle Fans TV.